In today's video, you'll see, as you can see the car here, it's sitting on the rotisserie. So today's video I'll go through how I weld up and put together the rotisserie, and then I'll get the car turned over and I'll be blasting and scraping and getting rid of the paint and all the body deadener that was underneath the car. It was pretty hard going, but I got there in the end. And I just, in the last video that I posted, I got a few good comments from people, particularly in regard to the fitting of the Tramp bars. And one comment that was made was that the car should have been sitting at right height, which I was sort of aware of, but when I sort of started out and I found that the diff housing wasn't sitting, it was sitting out of whack, out of square. I sort of just, things went out the window, I suppose, because what I was going to do was sort of sit it in place and then jack the diff up to get some weight on it. Now, someone also made the comment about putting some weight in the back of the car, which is probably a pretty good idea. So when I come back to that, I might just stick a bag of cement or something in the boot and jack the thing up to right height. So there was another comment someone made that it's probably just sufficient to have a good set of Bilstein shock absorbers with the leaf springs, and not to worry about that rear stabilizer bar. So I had actually been thinking along those lines, so that sort of helps me to maybe go that way to make that decision. Someone else sort of made a comment that they'd fitted a stabilizer bar underneath, and so I'll probably just go with a set of Bilsteins and see how it goes, and if I'm not happy with the way it handles, then maybe I'll look at putting a stabilizer bar underneath. And so that's good. I really do appreciate the feedback, and I just encourage people, if you actually do know what you're talking about, to just put your comments in and let me know what you think about various things as I'm going through this build. There was another comment actually a few videos back that someone had looked and said that's not an RS, and I think that was probably someone from the UK or somewhere over there, where they probably just don't realise that Australia had 4-door RS2000s. I've got a few fact sheets, I've just got them here. This one here, which you may not be able to see very clearly, but it's from a Ford Australia representative, and it's got the number of vehicles that were built for each month throughout 1979 and 1980 in 4-door and 2-door. So I added up all the 4 doors, and it was actually 998 4-door vehicles were produced during those couple of years. And there's another article here that was released prior. I'm not sure which magazine this was in, but I'll just read you a bit from this. Okay, not to be confused with the twin cam RS2000 currently raced and rallied in limited numbers. Now I think what that's referring to there is there was 25, I think they were German made RS2000s were imported into Australia by Ford, and I think a lot of those got bought up for racing. And the other thing that's interesting is that in 1982 the Ford Escort RS2000, driven by Bob Holden, actually got second outright in the Australian Touring Car Championship. And that's no mean feat if you look at the cars that he was racing against. Dick Johnson in his XD Falcon came first, and it's got in third position Alan Moffat in an RX-7 and Kevin Bartlett in the Chev Camaro. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Marcus Hayes. He's from the UK. He's got a YouTube channel on the build of his Ford Escorts, and the other week he was just previewing a couple of cars, and there was one from Australia, an old Cortina, I think it was a Mark I Cortina, and it had the Alan Moffat signature on the glove box, and they actually didn't know, it seems that they didn't know who Alan Moffat was. So Alan Moffat was a very successful driver here in Australia, and I might put up some information on that. I should have printed something out, but so going back to this, so The 2 litre overhead camshaft Escort will be available in 2-door and 4-door models. It will come with sports suspension, shield front bucket seats, sports steering wheel, short throw gear shift and sports instrumentation. And so that's what we got here in Australia. So I just thought that would be interesting to. Yeah, just in regard to Alan Moffat, when I said Australian racing car driver, he raced here in Australia and overseas, but he's actually a Canadian born, and he won 4 Australian Touring Car Championships. There were 6 wins in the Sandown 500 and 4 wins in the Bathurst 1000. And he was inducted into the V8 Supercar Hall of Fame in 1999. So yeah, he had he had quite a few great achievements here with his racing in Australia. And for those, if you're overseas viewers and you are not familiar with the Bathurst 1000, originally it was a 500-mile race, and then it was the Bathurst 500, then became the Bathurst 1000. But I would recommend, if you go to YouTube and just type in Bathurst, or Australian Bathurst or something like that, and have a look, you'll see some really great racing. I would recommend probably looking at the 70s through to the 90s. I don't think the stuff that they're doing these days, racing the Camaros and the Mustangs, I don't think it's very exciting at all. I think it was much better back in the days when there was all sorts of breeds and varieties and things racing. And yeah, just have a look at that. Just note those things. So anyway, we'll get into the video now, and I've already got another video that I'm 3/4 of the way putting together, and hopefully I'll get that out in the next couple of weeks. I started to make the brackets for the rear here to attach onto the rotisserie. So I think where that rotisserie is sitting there, once the car lowers down a little bit, and I think if I attach them. Well, it's a bit crowded in here. I'll get the earplugs out. So I've spent a fair bit of time today. I've made up these brackets that go on either side, pretty much where the bumper bar bolts mount up. So they're pretty much attached right at the end of the chassis rail on both sides. I've made up these other couple of bits to go on so that I'll bolt up to like so. Tell you what, you think you've got plenty of room, and it's a great big shed, but I still feel like I need more room. So anyway, now the idea is to weld all that together, and I think that'll be the rear taken care of. So then I'll look at the front, and so I've just put some bigger wire into the welder, ready to weld this stuff. Well, that's all welded up now in place, and I've given it a bit of a turn on this, and I've actually got the weight now up off the pretty much off the wheels, in the air. So now I need to get the front one done. There's a fair bit more work to do on the front one, and we're nearly there. I've gone and I've tacked a few things in place ready for welding. Now what I was thinking of doing is running a piece of steel between the two chassis, the chassis rails, with a piece coming out through the front here. But I thought, well, why don't I just use what I've already got here? I've got this thing it's attached to the chassis rails. That's what I've been using to tow it in and out when I'm working on it. So I've got this lump of steel here. I thought I might attach that across the front of there. And then this thing, I've got the telescopic so then maybe have that, obviously I'll get that out of the way, and then I'll have that, attach that onto there, and that should give me pretty close to the right centre of gravity, I think, when I just lift that up a little bit. So that's what I'm going to look at welding that together. So I'll get onto that now, I reckon. Well, I've got that welded up and in place. That's pretty much got the weight of the car there. I've still got stands under it, but it's taken the weight. But just going to have to do a bit of fine tuning and a bit of adjusting. I have got it adjustable so that this bit here can come up, because that will need to come up so that it sits about the middle of the grill, I think. And yeah, just a bit of fine tuning to finish it all off, and we're almost there. Okay, so yesterday afternoon what was happening, as I was winding the screw here to lift this section up and to bring the car up, this section here was going down because I didn't have a bolt through here. So I'm going to put a bolt there. I've actually got the thing, I think, sitting pretty much about the right level now. So time will tell, I suppose, when I come to tip it over and just see how it goes. So I'm just going to drill this and put a bolt in it, and obviously it'll be able to, you know, I can put several bolt holes if I do need to move it up or down. So it's just a pile at home. Now I'll put this. The other thing, as you can see, I've removed the guards, the doors, the front suspension. I'll remove, in a little while, I'll remove the diff and rear springs out of it, and hopefully then it'll be right to just see how it goes, tipping it up on its side. That's handy, I just broke the drill bit. So anyway, I'll see if I can find another drill bit, knock that one out and fix that up. Well, it's nice to finally have the car on its side so that I can get underneath it. There's supposed to be thunderstorms coming this afternoon, and so I just don't know how far I'm going to get. I might just do it in a couple of stages, just seeing what eventuates. I might just go from the front there back to about here, and then if it's still no storms, I'll maybe go the rest of the way. So anyway, that's what I'm going to get into right now. Well, I managed to get this blasted, like I said, from about there. It had been done forward of there previously. I've gone back to about here in front of where the back wheels would sit. Now, you would have seen in that video that I gave it a bit of a brush on with some paint stripper just to sort of help loosen up. It had a lot of like sound deadening on. It was a few mil thick, and so that took quite a bit of blasting to get through it all and to get it all off. And then I've just given it a bit of a finish off with a wire wheel. Fortunately, it hasn't really revealed any nasty surprises. It all looks pretty good. There's just a couple of spots that need a little bit of tidying up that I was quite aware of. So anyway, I'll do that, but I'll probably put a little bit of etch primer over it, just to keep the rust at bay. And so that's what I'll get on and do. I'll get on and do that now. Fortunately, I did get this done before the storm. The storms did finally roll in yesterday afternoon. They were pretty late, fortunately, and so then I'll hopefully today get on and do this section here. Looks like it's got quite a thick coating of body deadener in those guards. Actually, the whole lot of this looks like it's got fairly thick body deadening. So I expect it'll be a bit of fun. So anyway, that's where we're at. Well, I've got a nice coat of etch primer on the underneath now, as I say, just going back to here. And so now, next thing I'll start working on this back section. Don't seem quite as enthusiastic today, probably because it's such a bleak, miserable old day. But anyway, we'll see if we can keep going. Well, I've just been doing a bit of tidying up this morning. Actually, my plan was to just work inside for a while and then in the cooler afternoon to go outside and do some more blasting at the back section here, but there's thunderstorms in the area now, so I don't know whether I'm going to get out there, but I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. So I thought what I'll do is weld these mounting blocks for the anti-tramp bars in place. So that's what I'm just working on now. I've given them a good clean and a bit of etch primer on them to hopefully keep the rust at bay. I've got the spots marked there from the other day where they're going to sit. So I'll get in and weld those in. The other thing I did this morning, as I say, I did a bit of tidying up. There was a couple of very small holes in the floor up front that I've welded up and fixed up. And also where I put the large gearbox tunnel in, there was just a couple of spots I just had to tidy up underneath with the welds, but it's all looking a lot better now. There's a lot of work going to be needing doing around these at the back of the wheel arches, the tubs. So anyway, I'll just keep going. I might put it on fast motion so that I don't bore you too much. So we'll just tip it back the right way up. Oh gee, it's so good being able to do that. There we go, and then I'll just put a bolt through here so it can't go anywhere. Yeah, so just before we go for today, I'll just have a look. I've got these alloy fully adjustable strut top plates. Now obviously from what I can see, most people mount those like so to move the top of the strut in and out to adjust the camber. Now I'm going to be using the adjustable lower control arms that got the threaded bits on them. And so I was wondering whether to sit this more that I can actually adjust my caster to give it a little bit of extra positive caster maybe, and which means I'd want to sit it around like so. But what I found, and it was a good thing that I found this now I suppose, these things seem to be a bit too big. I noticed this one here, I don't know if you can see it, because these came with the car, and someone has actually marked these where it looks like they were planning maybe to cut them, I don't know. But the other thing I found also is that the all these bolt holes around the outside are too large a diameter. So I've marked where I can re-drill these. I've got an engineer friend that can set up and punch a whole heap of holes in for me. But I'm just debating, because as I say, I'm going to have plenty of camber adjustment with those lower control arms, and I'm contemplating sitting it maybe around on an angle like so that I can move the strut, you know, forward or backward at the top to, and you know, with probably the idea of moving it back at the top to give a little bit more positive caster. So yeah, so because the other thing, as I say, I've got these old top plates here. Yeah, so I marked it out on them. So anyway, that's just something that I'm going to have a bit of a look and a bit of a play with. I've also, you know, I might as well use these, seeing as how I've got them, because they're actually worth quite a few dollars. And you know, because the other thing I was thinking, like, I'm going to be using this as a road vehicle, and I was thinking, well, maybe I should get rubber so that it's just not quite such a harsh ride. But I guess I can use these and just see how it goes, and can always change them for rubber if I don't like it later. Actually, it's not really probably going to worry me so much, but it's just, you know, I want to use this as a drive car, and so I don't want my wife to be thinking it's such a horrible, harsh thing to be riding in the passenger seat that she won't want to go out when you know, if we want to go for a nice drive. I'd like to do a bit of reminiscing and go driving through the mountains, through the back of the Gold Coast there, where we used to spend a lot of time going through to Byron Bay and all those areas. I don't know, what is it, 3 or 4 lane highway all the way now, and it's not as much fun as those days where you'd wind in and out and around about and up through the mountains. It was a very sad day, the day they installed permanent cameras, but I suppose with the permanent cameras at least you knew exactly where they were. But anyway, they like to ruin things. But anyway, we'll wind this up here, and you know, hopefully you've liked this video where I've been working on the rotisserie, getting the car rolled over, and you know, as I say, if you like it, give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.